So, thanks everyone for joining us. Welcome to WriteHive Sunday. I'm Mike Piechuk, and we are soyouwanttowrite.org. Basically, we connect writers with literary experts. So it's authors, it's agents, it's editors. We do that so you can improve your writing and get published. And before I introduce Alisha, I do want to invite you to sign up for our WriterHive 5 email list. It comes out every Friday. Some good content that will help you write or publish your book. And if you like what you hear from Alisha today, you can book a one-on-one meeting with her. She'll read the first 20 pages of your book, a synopsis, and meet with you on Zoom for 45 minutes. We've also got a 12-week intensive writer coaching program coming, led by Alisha, starting end of May. And so if you want to know more about that, just visit our website. And I'll share with you a discount code, too, for that one-on-one with Alisha and any of the services on our site. So. Okay, enough about that. Alisha Sevigny is an author, freelance editor, and a former literary agent. I like to call her a triple threat because she's got the editing, she's got the authoring, and she's got the literary agent credentials, which is very hard to find in the publishing world. She's published several of her own very acclaimed young YA novels, and she's got another 2 books coming out, I believe, Alisha. You got a middle grade and a children's book. Is that right?
Yes.
Awesome. And so as a former literary agent at the Rights Factory, she's represented many talented authors, including a holistic beauty guru, a renowned environmental activist, and a whole bunch of debut authors. Maybe you've heard of Kristen Ma, Emily Hunter, Susan Glickman, Ayat Sinceris, Karen Wheeler, a whole bunch of fantastic authors. And she specializes in pitches and developmental edits, loves working with authors of all genres and backgrounds. And today we're asking you to pitch, please. Basically, this workshop is about how to write a killer book description that will leave agents, editors, and readers wanting more. It's an important skill to learn. And so I'll let Alisha kind of elaborate on that and turn it over to you, Alisha. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mike. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on your Sundays. I want to make this as useful for you as possible. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, blurbs and pitching, and then we can go in and look at we have lots of great pitches people submitted for themselves, which is awesome. You guys just let me know, if there's any questions that come up. I'm happy to answer them. We can get started. So this is my first time on Discord, really. So bear with me if I'm a little bit techie incompetent. So this is my first time, so I'm just trying to get used to this whole new medium, which is very cool. I really like it. So I thought I would go into a little bit about the difference between a blurb and a pitch for synopsis, which was one of the initial questions we had at the beginning of the workshop. So just to recap, a blurb is usually what's found on like the back cover of a book. So it's like the back cover copy. It's something that is meant to entice the reader into reading your book. So it's not like a summary. It's not like a synopsis. It's just more of like, it's a very salesy kind of pitchy action dynamic. What's at stake for the reader or for the character. So it's kind of something that's going to engage your reader who picks up your book to read your book. It's a little bit different than, I guess, in a pitch to an agent. Definitely how I wrote pitches when I was an agent, how I wrote pitches to editors was kind of using the blurb style. So I basically, is similar to a blurb, the back cover copy. It was basically the same. However, it may be a little bit longer, not much. Just a little bit more info or detail in there in the back cover than in the back cover copy, but still same idea. So a lot of the I guess pitches and blurbs I wrote for both for my own books for my agent to send out, and then for my clients made it onto the back cover copy as well. So it was edited down a little bit for word length, but so I find writing in this certain kind of salesy style, or not salesy, but like compelling, hook-worthy style is a really good way to get not only an agent's attention or an editor's attention, but also you can use it for your jacket for the back cover of your book. And we also had people asking about Twitter pitches, which there's a lot of different. Twitter is like you're limited obviously with your characters a little bit more, but Twitter pitches are great, and I think there's There's PitMad. I don't know if everyone here has heard of PitMad, which is where you can basically, during PitMad, you can tweet your pitch. And if an editor or an agent likes the sounds of your tweet, they will request a submission. They will tell you to send your book to their email. So that's a really great opportunity to kind of connect directly with editors and agents. Am I muted?
No, we're good.
Oh, okay, perfect. So that is so PitMad is for that. So it's a really great opportunity. I think it happens a couple times a year, maybe 4 times a year. I might be wrong on that, but and you can just tweet your pitch or your blurb, and you can attract the agent, like the attention of an agent or a editor, which is awesome. So some things that you want to do in your blurb, as I mentioned, you're trying to hook the reader's attention. You're trying to get them to read your book. And I'm sorry, and trying to get them to read your book. However, you don't want to give it all away. You don't want to kind of reveal the, and in the end, the boy gets the girl kind of thing. You want to keep back the end point. You don't want to spoil the book. Whereas in a synopsis, which is a bit different, it's longer, usually 2 or 3 pages. That basically, a synopsis will tell everything. So there's no surprises in a synopsis. You kind of have to go through all the main points of your manuscript. So that's a bit of a different thing. So the blurb, you're engaging your reader's attention. You have your character, who's your main character, your main focus. Even if there's like more than one, you kind of pick your main character. And then you really want to appeal to your reader's emotions, whoever that may be, whether it's an agent, your audience, or an editor. And you also want to kind of share what the conflict is. Why do we care? So we have our character. What's the conflict? We don't want to reveal the ending, though. We want to keep people like being like, oh, what happens? And wanting to read more. We want to hook them in. So those are kind of like the more salient parts of a blurb. A lot of people, blurb writing is kind of becomes a science after a while. So I recommend, if you have difficulties with blurbs, reading the blurbs of the genre that you are writing. So being very specific, because some blurbs are genre specific. So while they all do kind of have a bit of a formula to them, certain genres have a little bit of different tone or language. So a blurb for like a thriller novel is going to be the tone and the language is going to be a bit different than the blurb for a contemporary romance novel. So make sure you read a lot of blurbs in the genre you're writing. And kind of compare them, and also to write multiple blurbs. I know that's like even one is like, oh, but that can kind of free you up a little bit. So you can always change it or pull one line from one blurb and the other, send them out to friends or people you trust or other readers if you're in any Facebook groups, and get their feedback. Give them like at least 2 options. Do you like this blurb better, or this blurb, or maybe a little bit of A and a little bit of B? So I find that writing more than one blurb is a good way to kind of get at the heart of your story. And the other thing that I wanted to say is also, the blurb, just some technical things. The blurb should be in 3rd person. If you have a catchy bio, you're going to put that at the end, or not catchy, but any kind of bio. And don't worry if you don't have like a star-studded bio with all these achievements. That's fine. That's really, really secondary. I mean, if you do, it's wonderful, but if you don't, it's more about the pages and the book than, your bio. It's more about the writing and the story than the bio. So don't worry if you don't have a list of achievements and accreditations. That's secondary. I mean, if you do, it's great, but, secondary. And another thing that I recommend doing, and some people can take or leave this, but I really like doing it like this meets this. For example, in one of my pitches, just to kind of get into your reader's mind. This is more for literary agents as opposed to your back cover. You wouldn't put this really on your back cover, but if you're blurbing or pitching to literary agents, I would say, or editors directly, I would throw in a line maybe So, for example, one of my blurbs I'll share with you soon through screen share. It was like, it was like Practical Magic meets Easy A, which are two kind of fairly well-known movies that immediately kind of like will give you a sense of what the story is about. So that will help more so with, again, with literary agents, not so much. You don't want to really put that on your back cover. All right, so now from here, I thought we could maybe look at a couple blurbs, and then after that, we can go through your blurbs or your tweets, your Twitter pitches, and just have a look, and I can give some feedback. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Let's bear with me. Let's see if it works. Share my screen. All right. Share my screen. Okay, so hopefully everyone can see that. I'm just going to show you my blurb. And
so I think in order to see it, people have to go into the workshop chat channel and then click watch stream.
Okay,
is that right?
So go to workshop chat channel. It's also new.
Yeah, that's at least how I have to do it. I'm not sure if everyone else is the same. I'm a Discord noob myself, so.
Yeah.
Can everyone see it?
If you guys can see my screen, then although it's small for me, I'm not sure how it appears for you. Could you let us know in the chat? You can go to the full. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I feel like my parents right now. Okay, so let's pop. There's a way to pop it up. Got it. Okay, perfect. Go to the full video. Turn off camera. Screen settings. Or I don't know how to make it bigger.
I think that has to happen on the user side. So I think we can all do that ourselves if we want to.
Oh,
if you want
perfect.
to pop it out, you just go over that little side window and click the little square with the arrow popping out of it.
Okay, yep. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, perfect. So let me just if I want to make my own bigger, I guess I have to actually just go to the screen that it's on. Perfect. Yeah. And okay, perfect. So please let me know again if you guys have any issues. Mike, if you could let me know because I can't see the chat box right now. So
That's
this
good
is
on my side.
Okay, perfect. So this is going to be a bit of a longer blurb than you would normally use. This is a blurb that I wrote for my agent to send to editors. Because I was an agent, I had this skill. So she liked it and used it. And we were friends. So we kind of, so this was the blurb I had originally written to send out to editors and ultimately get a book deal with. Now, this would be probably a bit long for the cover, although this is on the back cover of my book jacket as well. But yeah, this might be a bit of a longer one. So we start off introducing the character, where she's at, and then what's the conflict, and then kind of, leaving the reader with a question or wanting to know what will happen. So I'll just quickly read it out in case anyone's having any issues. Popular party girl and high school senior Jessica Stone has a secret. She used to be a nerd, a big one, a goody two-shoes, grade skipping, all-state spelling bee champ. But she lost the braces, put on some contacts, and applied all her academic genius to studying and imitating the social elite. Now she rules the school from the upper echelon of the high school around. Well, with her cool new friends and hottest guy and school boyfriend, life's a beach, and that's where she's headed for spring break. That is until her teacher breaks the bad news that she's failing biology, and her only chance to make up the grade is to throw away the culminating trip of her hard-earned popularity and join the conservation club in Panama to save the golden frog. Unable to let go of her faded college dreams, Jess finds herself in a foreign country with a new social crew and one handsome face that stands out as a blast from the past, threatening to ruin her queen bee reputation. Travis Henley may have grown up, but he still likes to play childish games, and as payment for retrieving Jess's lost ring from the bottom of a jungle pool, he wants 3 dates. While Jessica's battle with spiders, snakes, wildflowers, and smart mean girls, she desperately tries to hang on to the last vestiges of her popular existence like the golden frog from its webcoat. But as she starts to care about something more than tanning and texting, a species on the verge of disappearing forever, she may realize the worth of her inner nerd and the one frog in particular that could be her prince in disguise. And then we have like a little summary line here. Set in the lush and tropical El Valle d'Anton, this modern fairy tale reimagining of the Frog Prince is toe-curling contemporary romance with an environmentalist heartbeat in the tradition of Stephanie Perkins. Stephanie Perkins is just another famous contemporary romance author. So I did a little comparison there. So again, this is a bit wordy for the back cover. However, this is what you would see when you're pitching directly to editors and publishers, and this would be a great blurb or pitch to send to prospective agents. It's a bit more information than you would find on the back cover of a blurb. So I'll just show you guys my other ones. The Summer Constellations is my other book. This blurb was written not by me. It was written by the publisher, which was Kids Can Press. I think Kate Egan, she was the editor of The Hunger Games. So she did this one. And you guys can read that if you want on my website. It's just alishasevigny.com. I'm going to go and show you a bit of a shorter one now. This is my middle grade novels, which were published with Dundurn. And I wrote these ones as well, and they also kind of made it onto the back. These ones made it onto the back cover. So this one was a bit longer when I originally sent it, when my agent sent it to prospective editors, and this is kind of more of a condensed version of the blurb, but pretty much the same, minus a few details here and there. So the Lost Girl Physician is the first in a series of Secrets of the Sands, which is middle grade adventure, historical adventure. Sasha must race to find a priceless scroll before time runs out. After a brutal fire takes their parents' lives, Sasha and Kai, children of the Pharaoh's royal physician, are left charming snakes and stealing food to survive. Unsure of who to trust, the pair are found and brought back to the palace, where the Pharaoh tasks Sasha with finding a rare medical document her father was transcribing. But are the royals hiding something? Befriended by a fellow scribe and a young princess, Sasha navigates palace intrigue and temple treachery while urgently seeking the valuable papyrus. For the scroll doesn't just have the power to keep the Pharaoh's army alive and reveal the secrets around her parents' death, it may be the only thing that can save Kai's life. So this is this is exactly what you would kind of see on the back cover of a novel. And then if you wanted to read the second one, this is kind of a continuation, also a bit shorter. This also made it onto the back cover of the book, of the publisher's book. So this is the little tagline at the top here: ancient Egyptian healer and scribe Sasha is ready for another role, spy. Forced to flee Thebes or face death, Sasha and her friends Pacer and Reb travel up the Nile and into the desert in search of a hidden oasis. Led by a freed spy, they plan to rescue Pharaoh's daughter, Princess Mirat, given to a Hyksos chieftain against her will. Before they can get there, though, they have to battle lurking crocodiles, endless dunes, and blinding sandstorms. When the group finally straggles into the Hyksos camp, they find the rebels preparing for combat. But as Sasha and her friends spend time with the rival tribe, the lines in the sand begin to blur. She takes on a dangerous secret mission and learns about a prophecy that could change the course of history. Sasha has to decide where her future and the real danger lies. So again, this was the back cover, and was pretty much, this one wasn't sent to an agent because they had bought the trilogy already, so they already had bought the series. But this I wrote this as well, and this made it onto the back cover. So I'll come back to the main thing. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that. Sorry for if you can see the quality. But yes, you can find these at my website, Mike just shared, alishasevigny.com, and also on Amazon. If you want to just look on there, you'll be able to see the blurb for the books on there. So this is, again, the kind of, oh, thank you, Kathleen. This is, again, the kind of blurb that you would find on the back cover of a book. Okay, so you have your character, you want to use like really powerful kind of descriptive adjectives, but not make it too lengthy. You don't want, the first one, Kissing Frogs, was a bit lengthy, I think now in hindsight, but that's what, made it onto the back cover of the book. And it also was the original pitch that was sent to to editors by my agent. You want to make it, punchy, and you want to have the conflict and the stakes. You want to leave the reader kind of wanting to know what happens, what you don't want to resolve it for them. You gotta kind of basically keep them, I guess, wanting to open the book and keep reading. So from the back cover blurb that gets them into page 1, and then you got to keep them hooked from there. From the blurb is kind of where it all begins. Does anyone have any questions so far that I can answer for you about blurbs versus synopsis versus pitch? And I just wanted to know, is anyone here looking to write their own blurbs for self-published books, or are they looking to write more of a pitch to attract an agent? Anyone want to write down their
you can respond in the text chat, or you can just unmute yourself if you'd like.
Okay, perfect. Agents. Okay, great. Oh, most people are pitching to agents. Okay, so sweet. So you can use these blurbs, and then you would probably just give maybe a little bit more, like the first one, the Kissing Frogs one. That had a little bit more description in there. Oh, everyone's pitching to agents. Okay, that's off. And off. So yeah, so there is a difference. A pitch is a little bit different than a blurb. I kind of use them interchangeably, and maybe it's because my pitches have since become my back cover blurbs. So that's probably why I kind of use them interchangeably. But yes, a pitch is a bit different than a blurb. A pitch will have a little bit more, not too much more. You don't want to bore an agent. They have so many queries. They have so many so many submissions from authors, hundreds a day they're reading through, or not even them, their people are reading and then forwarding onto them sometimes. So you want to just immediately catch their attention. Boom, boom, boom. No more than 3 paragraphs. No more than, and then you have your bio at the end. I'll share one more longer pitch I did to an agent. So since most people here are pitching to agents, I'm going to focus more on that. I'll share with you a pitch I did for an agent, and that got multiple requests and multiple requests. So I think it was okay. I'm not saying that these are the best way. They're just how I do blurbs. So I'm going to do pitch for off my head. And some big agents actually requested the book based on this pitch. So, okay. So can everyone see what screen is showing? I'm just going to double check to see what's showing now. Okay, it's still my website. So I'm just going to change my screen, guys, and I'm going to stop streaming now, and I'm going to select a new screen to share. And I'm just going to select a new screen to share. So this is the pitch. Bear with me while I select the screen. Share your screen. This is fun. It's actually fairly easy, Discord. I'm finding it pretty good. Okay. So this is a longer pitch I used for. Can everyone see that? It might be a bit small on your screens. It's just from my email, but I will read it out if it is a bit small. So this is a pitch I used and I got a lot of requests from literary agents and some big literary agents. And I just started with kind of like a boom tagline. And again, I did that, which I told you guys earlier, to use a couple comp titles. I usually use movies. I mean, you can use books as well. But I'm a very kind of scenic person. And I'm always thinking, how can this be adapted for film? Because that is where the money is, my friends, not in writing books. It's in the option of your books for Netflix series and movies. So this is how I started. Again, boom, boom, 2 comp titles just to situate my audience. Easy A meets practical magic and is whimsical. Got my adjective. YA contemporary, my genre, about mothers and daughters, first loves, and learning to embrace your inner magic. So I kind of have a lot in that line. So I've got my comp titles, my, the tone, like it's a kind of a whimsical, fun, young adult, contemporary, and then what it's about. Mothers and daughters, it's a universal thing. Everyone can relate to that. First loves, everyone can relate to that. And learning to embrace your inner magic, learning to break to everyone, that's kind of like it's kind of intriguing. Oh, magic, So let's go into it. I went into a little bit of a bio background because I do have some publishing history now. So I did a little bit here. This book also won several grants, so I mentioned that. So, and I also mentioned the word count. I would do that as well in your pitch to agents, just because they want to know. Unless you're writing like very high fantasy, anything over like 99,000 words is going to deter an agent. So I know, some people really write long books. So if you have a book that's 130 or 140,000 words, I would encourage you to think about how you can cut that into 2 books. Just because as an agent, I know, as a former agent, I know that if I saw anything over 100K, I was like, nope, too long, not reading, unless it sounded amazing, which is hard for a debut if most of you are debut authors. So I would try to keep your book between 80 and 95,000 for word count for an adult novel. Again, unless it's super high fantasy and you have a lot of world building in there. So I went into the first paragraph. Palm of My Hand is a 70,000 word novel that taps into the exploding popularity of crystals, tarot, and other witchy inclinations. It explores how people are being drawn to pagan and other marginalized traditions in times of political and social unrest, and reflects upon manifesting our own realities. The book contains a feminist perspective at its heart with deliberate commercial appeal and will speak to anyone coming to terms with their individuality and personal power. Palm has been awarded a total of 7 grants from the Toronto and Ontario Arts Councils over 2018-19. Written as a standalone, Palm could also work as a series in the way of Jenny Han or Stephanie Perkins, with books 2 and 3 titled In the Cards and Love in Ruin, respectively. So that was kind of like an overview, and then I get into the story. Okay, Palm of My Hand. Astra Moon, daughter of famed love psychic Madame Cressida, is just trying to pretend she and her mother are normal while working at the secondhand book and metaphysical shop below their fortune teller's lair. Years of witnessing her mother's lovelorn clients have Astra swearing off romantic relationships. The natural slash on her palm's heartline, falling right around her late teens, also doesn't inspire much confidence. Vexingly, for the young intuitive, an upcoming astrological event portends of change in the air. When Gabe, the store owner's nephew, shows up with his father and offers to help around the shop, Astra finds herself unexpectedly drawn to her new employee, despite the protective barriers she's cast around her heart. Complicating things is Gabe's dad, who just so happens to be the good reverend with his own talk show and certain appearances to keep up, ones that certainly don't smack of divination and witchcraft. Far from being put off by Astra's pagan proclivities, Gabe encourages her to embrace her gifts. And though she and her mother were hurt by the one man they should have been able to trust the most, Astra finds herself opening up to Gabe and her own powers. Can Astra overcome her fears and see a future with Gabe, or will the crystal ball come up with nothing but heartbreak? In the course of researching Palm, I've spoken at length with empaths, energy healers, and those with other intuitive inclinations, becoming involved in the community. This is a little bit of bio. I've also received my Reiki Master, Crystal Healer, and Tarot Reader certifications, which have greatly expanded my knowledge of the subject material, while also having the added bonus of making me an extra fun party guest. You guys are all going to know how weird I am now. Author bio. Alisha Sevigny, and this is just my bio, just my books I published, and a little bit of background on me. So that is the original pitch that got quite a lot of requests from literary agents. So I'm going to say that that's a workable one. So if anyone has, again, any questions, we're going to check back in, and then I'm going to start to maybe go through some of your questions, and then look at some of your own pitches and tweets, as well as any inquiries,
questions so far?
Questions. I feel like I'm just talking into the void because I can't see anybody's faces or my own. So it's
a few people are typing, Alisha.
Okay,
so
great.
Give them a second to get the questions out. But yeah. So that was your query letter, basically, right?
Yeah, that was my own query letter that I used, and Perfect. It got a lot of requests for the manuscript from literary agents. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always helpful when you can share something that actually worked with people who are going through the same process as them.
Kathleen, we would be BFFs.
Faye is asking, can you skip the bio on the first book?
What do you mean? If you're submitting to agents, or if you're for your actual back cover? No, I wouldn't submit the bio. I would even put, like, even if it's something even if you don't have any kind of qualifications, but you could say Faye is a writer based in blah blah blah, and enjoys, you know, and then maybe relate something to what you've written about. So for example, here you can see I wrote in the bio, I wrote kind of like why I'm writing about this. I wrote, you know, I've got my tarot reader certification. I've become involved in the community for research. I did my crystal healer certification as I did. So I did my research for sure, did my research. So you can kind of mention that even if you don't have any publications. Why are you writing this book? What is your interest in the subject matter? You know, so even if it's like a mystery or, oh, what happened here? I just close it. Are you still here?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, something just happened and my Discord screen just kind of closed. Last channel. Nope. So I would not skip your bio if you can still hear me.
Yep.
Okay. My screen is now just showing you, Mike. So I feel like I might have pressed a button, but I'll just keep. Oh, maybe I have to go back into the Discord app. Home. There we go. Okay. So yes, I would not skip the bio. So I have lost the chat box app.
Okay, I can read out the questions if that helps.
Perfect, that'd be
Linda
great.
Pinda asked, can you mention some pitfalls to avoid in your pitch besides a too high word count?
Yeah, sure. I would avoid, you know, using kind of cliche language, and you want the language to be punchy, but like, you know, you don't want to say like an expression that's been used 100 times, like in a world gone wrong, or you know, after, like, so any kind of cliche or expressions or words that have been used so much, I would just be careful of that, and make sure that, you know, the language is kind of as fresh as you can get it, and punchy. You know, it depends. It's all very specific to the blurb. Yeah, being too long, unimportant details. You know, if there's like a B story or any subplots, you know, I would kind of avoid maybe mentioning those. You can save for a synopsis. So just, yeah, kind of being really focused on like your main character, what their conflict is, what the stakes are, and what's going to happen if, you know, if they don't achieve their goals, essentially. So that was a great question.
Great. Quentin Adams asks, so what do you recommend starting with in your pitch? How do you decide what the hook is?
Oh, that's a great question. So if you have an amazing bio, then you could start with your bio. If you want an award for your story, or, you know, received a grant for your work or anything like that, you could start with that. You can also start with, you know, for me, I do like that tagline that I wrote, which kind of encapsulates like an overall. That would be like your elevator pitch, kind of. If you have like a line, you can kind of define it. You can start with that. Anything that you think, I mean, you're going to be submitting to agents that you're researching, so hopefully that you will know a little bit about them. So you can even, you know, if you're personalizing it, you could be like, you know, I love this book that your client published. If you want, it depends. If, you know, you're going to want to personalize it a bit, but again, don't worry too much about doing that with agents. They're not, you know, they're not expecting like a full personalized thing. But if there is something that you can connect on, that you know that agent is interested in, if you know that they're interested in this genre. You know, my friend, I helped her with a pitch. She submitted to an agent recently who had on her bio that she loved boy bands. So she's like and she's pitching a graphic novel about like you know, an evil boy band. So she said, based on our mutual love of boy bands, I would like to submit to you blah 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 blah. So, you know, that's kind of going to be about your intuition, depending on who you're pitching to. Again, you can have that great one-liner that you can put right at the top that immediately hooks the reader. I hope immediately hooks the reader, that line that I shared. You know, Easy A meets Practical Magic in this whimsical YA contemporary about, you know, mothers and daughters, first loves, and learning to embrace your inner magic. Like, I hope that would be enough of a hook to the agents I'm submitting to, right? That's not going to be a hook for an agent who is not interested in representing YA contemporary romance, right? So you're going to have to go a little bit on gut, a little bit on intuition, do a really great first line that's going to hook people in. Yeah, and it's gonna, and it will vary book by book, and as your bio kind of builds up, that might change it as well. I usually say, unless you have an incredible bio, just save your bio for the end. But if there's like an award you won or a story competition, then you can lead with that. That's always a good way to go.
Speaking of bios, Alisha, Charlotte is asking, should it be in the third person? I mean, we see that a lot, but what's the standard?
So traditionally, standard was third person, but now it's starting to change a little bit, and I think there's a preference among some agents for first person, because they obviously realize that you're writing this. So I mean, it's totally up to you. I think you can do third person or first person. I personally have been more inclined to do third person, just because I feel weird writing about myself. But as I see, it is starting to kind of swing a bit more to first person. So either or is fine. Whatever feels more comfortable for you. That's a great question.
And Taya's asking, do you recommend starting with the pitch or the metadata for a query letter? I'm not personally sure what metadata refers to, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
She also says, I find starting with the metadata more natural, but most queries start with a pitch/blurb.
Can she clarify what she means by the metadata? Just like the.
We'll give it a second.
Sure. Yeah. If she could clarify.
Oh, okay. Word count /genre/age category.
Again, like I had it pretty quick. I didn't start with it. I had that sentence before, but then I had it right after. So again, whatever feels more natural. There's no rules for writing pitches to agents. There's only kind of guidelines. So whatever you think sounds better. Again, get the opinion or feedback of a few of your friends. What do they like better? What sounds more natural? Ultimately, if you feel something is more natural, go with that, because then that's your gut telling you that that's a better way to go. So listen to your gut, listen to your instincts, your own intuition. Get feedback, of course, from friends or other writers or groups that you're members of. Like here, you could share here, and see what other people think. And then, ultimately you'll have to make a decision based on your own intuition.
Great. Did I miss any questions, everyone? I think I caught most of them, but if there's more, please post them in the chat. Otherwise, I suppose we could go to the blurbs.
Yeah, now I need to figure out how to get back into the room, the chat room. So, here we go.
So
here we go. I think I'm here. Okay, perfect.
Got it. So I think we said we're going to start with Taya. Taya, would you like to mute yourself and read out your own blurb? If you can. We had some technical stuff this morning, but let me see if I can unmute you. I don't think I can.
I just saw one question from Ashley that I just responded to. Sorry, really quickly. When Ashley said, I always stumble over what makes you the person to write this book Christian, because I don't know, I like flying people. Like, yeah, go with that and make it like really funny. Be like, yeah, with her obsession of flying people, she's always been interested in blah, 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 blah. So go with that. Agents want to be amused. So, I mean, make it really funny, own it. And that would, I think that would definitely work. You could definitely do that.
Great. So Taya's asking if she has to. She's going to ask me to read it. So let me go up and find it here.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
Do my best radio voice impression. Okay, this is from Taya. This is for a queer adult rom-com. Fans of red, white, and royal blue will enjoy the hate-to-love dynamic, and fans of boyfriend material, the witty humor and celebrity gossip. Kai's life should be a cakewalk. With his charm, looks, talent, and the hearts of teenage girls everywhere, he is living his wildest dreams. Well, most of them. Being openly gay is apparently too wild for an international pop star topping the charts. In the conservative entertainment industry, his choices are limited. Aaron's brand is about authenticity. As an indie rocker, he's open about everything, from his breakouts to his bisexuality. It doesn't matter that cynics think his raw, personal songs are pretentious or call his fans elitist. He prefers to consider them connoisseurs. And if an ostentatious Frenchman can't take advantage of his Juilliard degree, why even have a career? After getting in a Twitter feud that results in bad publicity, the two are brought together for a collaboration to save their public images, but their conflicting personalities can't stop clashing. Aaron thinks Kai is a lazy, spoiled brat. Kai thinks Aaron is a self-righteous, privileged snob. However, when pitted against a homophobic industry, they won't take it lying down, except maybe literally. Alas, a relationship could spell the end of their careers or prove that some stars burn brighter in their darkest skies.
Amazing. I thought that was fabulous. I really need to see it. I mean, it's different to hear it just so I could like maybe nitpick, but overall, that is a fantastic pitch. It's I wish I had, you know, if we can we copy and paste that in the chat box?
Let me repost it in the bottom. There you go.
So really, really, really great pitch. So friends, okay, you have your comp title there at the beginning. You got your hate to love dynamic. Okay, so the only thing is the first line, it's just a little bit confusing the way it's worded. So I would say fans of red, white, and royal blue will enjoy the hate to love dynamic. And then maybe while fans of boyfriend material will love the witty humor and celebrity gossip. Just to make it just a bit more clear, just to kind of clarify that, because it's the dash kind of, the hyphen really kind of like pulls me out of like gets me a bit confused. But overall, great, you know, first line to set your reader into what's this going to be about. What are my comp titles? Okay, so really, really good. I like the kind of breezy language because that's your genre, right? It sounds like, you know, it's kind of contemporary romance. So got your cakewalk, you know, you're describing your character, and you've got your conflict right there, being openly gay is apparently too wild. And then you have, you know, the next line about Aaron. That's great. You know, this part about where it starts, it doesn't matter that cynics, you could leave that, or you can maybe tweak that line a little bit there. The next two lines are where you're describing Aaron. I would maybe flesh that out a little bit more, or kind of not flesh it, sorry, edit that to those two lines right there. I'm just going really quickly here. But I love how you have, you know, the Twitter feud, bad publicity, the two are brought together. So it's like enemies to lovers kind of trope. And then, you know, you can even take out Aaron thinks Kai is a lazy, spoiled brat. Kai thinks Aaron is a self-righteous, privileged snob. You could take out that line. You could lose it, or you could keep it. Just optional. I'm just trying to think, you know, just to be more boom, boom, boom. That's a scientific word, boom, boom, boom. And then go straight to, however, when pitted against a homophobe, I would say end at clashing and go straight to, however, when pitted against a homophobic industry, they won't take it lying down, except maybe literally. Maybe put that in brackets. This is just fairly nitpicky stuff. Alas, a relationship could spell the end of their careers, or prove that some stars burns brighter in the darkest skies. So the last line is, I like the first half of it. The second half is a bit it takes a little bit of a mental leap, like, because I guess because I didn't know that is the title Some Stars Burn. Okay, the title is Some Stars Burn Brighter in the Darkest Sky. So if I saw the title first, then that would be fine. You know, if you had that first up before the whole thing, just had some title first, and then I would get it. But if without seeing that, just that's a bit of a mental leap. It's a little bit vague. So I would just maybe tweak that. If that last line there, that last half of that last line, I would tweak that maybe a little bit just to make it a little bit more concrete. Like, instead of like, yeah, you know, it's fine actually. Upon reading it, it's just that I didn't see the title before, so that kind of threw me off. But now that I know that the title is Stars, then that's fine. I think it's fine. Yeah, overall, great job. Should we do really another one?
Sure. Faye, I think you were next. Would you like to try to unmute yourself? Hopefully it's going to work. And you can read your own.
Hello?
Go for it.
Hi.
I hear you.
Working this time. Nice. Okay. Hi. I'll just get right into it. Hell's
Right.
Cupid is a 100,000-word dark fantasy novel with strong romantic, queer, and satiric elements about what happens when a damned soul is bought to work for the corrupt god of love, Eros. The stories is Hades, the video game, meets Good Omens. A fractured retelling of Eros and Psyche plays out in the twilight of the gods when the Olympians have been reduced to paying Hades rent and getting day jobs. Damned soul turned Cupid, Frank Cirillo, has two goals. Number one, do whatever it takes never to go back to hell. Number two, unravel the mystery of the strange coincidences, memories, and dreams that keep interrupting his regularly scheduled afterlife. What isn't a goal, coming to grips with the night he hurt his sister, died, and promptly tipped into hell. He's too busy keeping his boss's friends from eating children, managing the temp from hell, making friends with new and interesting minotaurs, and avoiding pissing off the Greek pantheon. Again. Everything changes when Frank runs headfirst into death and their paperwork goes flying. Frank discovers too late he has accidentally sent Death to go kill her soulmate. This is not good because not only will it break the laws of the universe and whatever, but the soulmate is also his kid sister. Frank now has less than 24 hours to outwit gods, escape to the land of the living, stop death, and avoid getting fired. Literally. Bio, I'm a writer and classically trained painter from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. This book is partially inspired by experiences such as the pitfalls of working in the tech sector with no formal training whatsoever, and my terrible tendency to nearly fall to my death in foreign countries, most notably from the top of the Acropolis.
Love it. Love it. So great. So for you, Faye, I would suggest something different. I would just start with Damn Soul turned Cupid. Frank Cirillo has two goals. I would start with that paragraph and then maybe have like a more of like a one-liner, like, you know, like something like, you know, being a Cupid, blah, 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 like a one sentence before that, and then start with Damn Soul. Or you could just start with Damn Soul. I would take the first paragraph, Hell's Cupid is a 100 dark cape fantasy novel, move it to under the second paragraph here, after avoid getting fired, literally, I'd put that there. And I would also try to go through your manuscript and get it down to 99,000 K, because again, 100,000 K is going to be like, ooh. So if you can edit that down a little bit, that would be great. I do like how you have your comp titles, Hades meets Good Omens, and then I do like that the last line in your first paragraph here, a fractured retelling of Eros and Psyche plays out in the Twilight of the Gods. What does it mean by Twilight of the Gods?
Basically, just they're not as hot as they used to be. And
okay, so that takes a little bit of mental work for me. So I would just take that out and have a fractured retelling of Eros and Psyche plays out as the Olympians have been reduced to paying Hades rent and getting day jobs, or the untenable situation, or like I do like what you're trying to do there, and I just think that little phrase might need some tweaking, just because I don't I like I said, like you have people looking at your pitch for literally 15 to 20 seconds, so you want to make it as clear as possible. And that one just a bit of I have to think about that for a second. You don't want to make people think too hard. So just fix that little phrasing there, and again, move that first. I'm actually touching my screen. I don't know if you guys can see me. I'm like picking paragraphs and moving them. So move that one after the two paragraphs about the book. I do like your bio. This book, like, see, funny. I like that. The book is partially inspired by experiences in the tech sector with no formal training. I like your bio. I think your bio is cute. It's really cute. So yeah, really good. Both you and Taya, great pitches. And then again, yeah, just one other. What was I going to say? One more thing.
Is the length okay?
I think the length is great. The length is great. The length is perfect. Yeah. And then yeah, I think it's really, really great. I like how you're, yeah. So take that first paragraph, move it to after the other two. And then again, I would just try to get to 98, 99. I know it's something, it's just like a mental block agents will have as soon as they see like 100K, you know, like it's just a little something detail, but it might help, you know, more people take a look at it.
If I can delete one word and it's 999.
999,999. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you can delete more than one word out of 100K. Says the editor in me. I will share with you guys. I just got my edits back from my publisher for the third book in that Egypt series. And it's at 80,000 words, and they've asked me to take it down to 70,000 words. So I have basically 4 weeks to take out 10,000 words of my novel. And it's because it's middle grade, they want it at 70,000. And it's the third novel in a series, and I have to kind of weave in a backstory in those first 40 pages, basically, that I'm being told to axe somewhere else. So I hear you guys. I feel you. As a writer, I know what it's like to kind of cut our words. But yes, if you could get that down, even 5K would be even better if you could do that. 95K, that would be better.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, great. Does anyone?
Why don't we go to Wayward next, please? Wayward, did you want to post your query instead of a blurb, or?
I'll post that and read it concurrently.
So for those high fantasy word counts, yeah, you can. I mean, you could say it as a. I mean, if you could say it's like do you envision it as a series or a trilogy or anything like that, or is it just a standalone?
Yes, it's a duology. It's already completed.
Okay, cool. I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No problem. Din grew up frozen between two worlds, crafting mech devices to keep his mother and sister warm during the unending winter, and dreaming of becoming one of the Animati, the bio-warriors who kept his border town safe during the last war. When children are kidnapped from his town and he fails to save his apprentice, Din realizes that his self-taught mech skills are no match for the enemy. And if the Animati aren't coming, he'll just have to become one of them, get those kids back, and protect his own fairy-toss-damned town. As Din gives up mech and claws his way to the Bio Academy, he'll team up with a snarky bio prodigy and a kind-hearted third-sexed fellow recruit in order to overcome prejudice against Din's mixed blood heritage, his physical weakness, and his fraying control of his bio enhancements to become an Animatus. But the traitor they've been charged to hunt within the Academy is closer than he could have imagined, and when a new war rises, Din will have to choose who to protect, his new military family or the missing kids he swore to save. Rune Nation's 165K, science fantasy with comps to Phoenix Extravagant and Red Rising. My day job as a neuroscientist in biotech was heavily integrated into the bio of the world of Rune Nation. Mech comes from the gap between the way my mechanical engineer father explains problems and how I wish they worked. And then my first novel came out in 2018.
Awesome. Wow, you guys, I'm so impressed with these pitches. These are fabulous. So that's really great. I like, you get right into the story. This is pretty textbook pitch. It's really, really good. Just some feedback. I like you kind of explain, because sometimes in fantasy, people will be talking their pitches and we have no idea what they're talking about because they built these crazy intense worlds, but it's really hard to kind of describe it, but you do that. You have your crafting mech devices. What the heck is mech? Cake keeps his mother and sister warm, so we know they're important. Good. And then the Animati, the bio warriors. That's a great to keep his border town safe. So that first line is great. The second line, I would focus more about this apprentice person, because they make it more personal for him. Right now, it's like when children are kidnapped from his town, yes, we feel bad for the children, but I would focus more when his beloved apprentice, or when his his charge, make it more about the apprentice, make it more about his more, as opposed to kind of along. So make it him first, like when his apprentice is taken along with other children, blah, 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 blah. And then, and then it says why would he want to become an Automati if they're, if they're not coming, or if they didn't do a good job? I maybe put more in there about that, like when he's his dreams, I don't know, when he's disappointed, when his dreams are dashed, I'm speaking in very cliche terms right now, because I'm trying to think
kind
out loud.
Of being let down by your heroes, but at the same time, you want to do a better job, right?
Exactly. You got it. So, kind of a little tweaking there about that. And and then yes, great. So second paragraph, gives up as Dan gives up mech. Does that mean like his job or tech? Crafting mech devices, but as Dan gives up mech, what is that mean?
Yeah, he kind of turns away from that aspect of his past to focus on the bio, but that turns out to be the wrong call. But maybe it's a little subtle for the query.
Yeah, okay, so I would maybe tweak that little part there. You can even just take it out as Din claws his way up the bio academy, or as Din, leaves behind his mech training to claw his way up to the bio academy, just to clarify a little bit more. I do like, you introduce some other, helpers, or, in your thing, you have your bio apology, kind-hearted third sex. That's interesting. Fellow recruit, love it. To overcome prejudice against Din's mixed blood heritage, his physical weakness, and his brain control of his bio enhancements to become an animatus. So this is a great sentence. It's a bit of a mouthful. I wonder if we can break that into two. And also, this is we've forgotten that he wants to get the kids back. So maybe add something in there about that. Like now I'm just like, is he going? Now it's like he's going to school and doing training. Then in the meantime, I'm thinking, like, but what about the kids? Like, are they dead now? Or like, it feels like a lot's happening before he can actually save them. So
yes, reminder of the kids is good.
Exactly, a reminder of the kids. And then I like this last sentence here. It's like, is close to they could have imagined, and when a new war arises, Dim will have to choose who to protect. I like that. Again, reference your apprentice, not the general missing kids. He swore to say, because you make this relationship with his apprentice like the cornerstone. Like, who is he?
It is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So make that kind of like. So that will definitely increase your stakes a bit more, because I think that's what this needs. You need to kind of make it more of an increase in stakes for your reader. Okay, awesome. So, but overall, like, that's a really, really good first run. Rune Nation. Okay, so 165,000 words. So I mean, you're going to be pitching this to. It is big, but you will be pitching this to sci-fi agents, or agents who have an interest in sci-fi. So you will have a bit of leeway. You can maybe, if you're not getting any hits on this, if you're not getting any bites on this pitch, then I would maybe consider making it into 2 books. Or I'm not sure if you've started writing the second, taking a little bit of this one and putting it with the second, to see if you can maybe break it up a bit more. If you find that you're not getting any bites, but again, agents who deal with sci-fi and this kind of genre will be used to heavier word counts. So I take everything I say with a grain of salt. But yeah,
I appreciate it so much. Yeah, thank you.
No, my absolute pleasure. And I like how you have a publication. So congratulations.
Thank you. And thanks for the feedback. That was so useful.
My pleasure.
It's just great to hear everybody's pitches. So.
Yeah, these pitches are fabulous, you guys. All right.
They are really good. I'm so impressed.
I'm really impressed. Yeah.
Okay to do a few more, Alisha?
Yeah.
Alrighty. Why don't we go to Kathleen Fox next, if you wouldn't mind reposting your
Kathleen.
But before that, there was a question from Taya. They're asking if 95K is too long for an adult rom-com.
It's a bit on the long side for an adult rom-com. However, again, it's not, it's fine if you feel like you cannot bring it down anymore. It is on the longer side for sure for an adult rom-com, but it's not necessarily a deal breaker. If you could get it down to 90, that would be better. Again, if the rom-com has, is complicated and has a lot of side plots, and maybe it'll be fine. It's not necessarily a deal breaker, but yeah, if you could get it to 90, if you could, that would probably be a little bit better. 95 is just a titch on the long side for a rom-com, but again, not a total deal breaker. And again, every agent is different and will have their own preference. 90 was
Cool. Is Kathleen there? Kathleen, would you like to read out your blurb? Okay, I'm not sure if we. Oh, they're just typing. Okay.
Okay.
if you're not comfortable doing that, I can repost it and read it.
Oh, it's not letting her unmute.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if I can fix that. I'm not sure why.
Did she post it up here? Let me scroll back up and see.
Yeah,
if
I can repost
you could
that.
just repost it and then oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. So I would right away, because your tagline is good, but it's a bit vague, I would say maybe the genre. Is this literary, or just maybe just tell me so I can read the blurb in the right frame of mind. Is this literary fiction or thriller or romance?
We'll give her just a second to type that out.
Okay. I'll just read it while she's typing. When Megan meets Matthew, a protective police officer, she is swept off her feet by his good looks and irresistible charm. Matthew saves Megan from an aggressive boyfriend, and she subconsciously excuses red flags as he reels her into his web. So an unexpected pregnancy forces Matthew to claim Mr. Responsibility or risk losing his reputation and inheritance, so he proposes to her. She loves being a mother and tries her best to please her husband, but becomes someone she doesn't recognize as he toys with her mind and emotions, gaslighting her for fun. Driven by an incessant need for control, Matthew. Oh, got it. Here we go. Oh, here we go. So this is an actual. So you have the lies he told me. A dual POV 90-word psychological suspense. Ideally, it will sit on bookshelves between the works of Chevy Stevens and Gillian Flynn, and is perfect for fans of Netflix and you. I choose to create you for this project because you're interested in representing suspense, thrillers, mysteries, and your social media files. I see you as an agent who champions the work and career of your clients. Okay, great. That's a great little intro, and that helps set me for the next two paragraphs. So that's great. You had that. Perfect. And then, so I would put. So is it equally dual? Is this an unreliable narrator? Kathleen? Is one of those unreliable narrator stories? If it is, I would mention that. I feel like a lot of the first paragraph is kind of more about like emotions opposed to action. So you could, I mean, it's because it is, that kind of psychological suspense. I would try to make it more action, not action based, but more like physical, as opposed to this is more kind of emotional. It's more about like the mind games, and if you just say like psychologically abusive, that will basically cover a couple of those sentences, right? Because those are just basically examples of psychological abuse. And so I would definitely, kind of shorten that first paragraph about, and I would have, who is Megan? I would want to know, like, we know Matthew is a protective officer. I would want to know her last name. Like I would want to know, like, what is she a student? Is she like a a McDonald's employee, like, like something like I'd want to give a little bit. I want to know a little bit more about Megan, and who she is. Like maybe a last name would be good. And then again, we get a little bit an unexpected pregnancy. And also it's like I think because it is duo, we're having a little bit of duo-ness in this pitch. So I think you should maybe choose I mean, it's hard to say without reading the manuscript, but if you can maybe choose like either Megan or Matthew to tell the pitch from their perspective. So it seems like if for me personally, I would make it, because now it kind of seems more about Matthew. Is it more about Matthew or Megan, or equal? It's pretty equal. Okay. Because it feels a little, I mean, it feels a little bit more about Matthew with this pitch, just because you start both paragraphs about Matthew. So I don't know if you want to maybe, I guess you have to decide who you want to be the more of it about. I guess pick your thing, and if you're going to go with Matthew, then that's fine. I would also put a last name for Matthew as well, just to kind of let us know. And And so Matthew sounds kind of like not a very nice person, and and so I would kind of just say, like, I do like the line, how he reels her in with his irresistible charm. I wouldn't necessarily put the whole saves her from an aggressive boyfriend. So it sounds like she kind of went from the frying pan into the fire. You can even just leave that out and just say, when Matthew so and so, a protective police officer, breaks up a altercation between Megan and her boyfriend, she goes from, kind of not this expression in the frying pan into the fire, but something along those lines. That's not cliche. And just kind of how she gets mixed up with Matthew. I would also, this seems a lot like, is it the whole story about like their journey, their marriage? Because it's like they go from being together and now he's using their children as pawns. So the story must span quite some years. I would, the first paragraph I would like to tweak a little bit. If I had this copy and pasted into a Word document, I'd be like moving things around right now and striking lines. I think the first paragraph definitely needs some work. Let's go to the second paragraph. I do like the second paragraph because this is a little bit more action based. So we have the accident when Matthew's new girlfriend. So this is kind of hard to do online, like as I'm speaking. I would need to like work with this in a Word document, but it's definitely, you would want to make it more action, more about the story, not so much about emotions and feelings and the mind games. You can just say abusive behavior, like emotionally abusive, and then he ends it, then he gets a girlfriend. So I want my plot points here. I would like to see more plot points here as opposed to like more of a descriptive relationship here. So that's kind of what I think this pitch needs to have. It needs more definition in your plot points, like what's the action as opposed to more what's the description of like a bad relationship, if that makes sense to you. But basically, what I'm getting from this pitch is that he was a really bad guy. He blamed everything on his wife, now ex-wife. His girlfriend is hurt and he's being charged with murder. Make that a bigger thing. And then Megan must decide between, testifying against the father of her children, who she knows is abusive, but like, you do have that in that line here, leaving Megan torn between wanting to believe the man she once loved and finally listening to her instincts. That's great. And then, so I guess he's an unreliable narrator, or are they both unreliable narrators? Let me just scroll down here. I'm just He's the unreliable. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay. So then I would forget more about Matthew and make it more from Megan's perspective. For the pitch, I would make it more about when Megan meets blah, 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 blah. She falls hard. Unfortunately, he is not who he seems to be. And their marriage is one long, blah, 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 like nightmare ending in him breaking her heart for another woman. When his new girlfriend is found, blah, 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 then Megan needs to decide if, she really can trust her once husband and the father of her children versus like her instincts. So yes, that's my advice for this pitch. I would put it all in Megan's perspective. Forget about Matthew, and make it more plot and refer more to the plot points as opposed to like the emotional drama, if that makes sense. Okay, awesome. So glad that could help.
Well, this is great. People are finding this really valuable. Even if Alisha's not looking at your own pitch, hopefully you're seeing some parallels to what you've come up with. Alisha, do we have time for one more?
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, Savannah, would you like to post your, I think it was a Twitter pitch or whatever you'd like to share? And then there you go.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, we hear you.
Oh, excellent. I'm from South Africa, so it's quite a distance.
Great.
I'll start reading my blurb. I'm hoping my dark adult science fiction mystery with romance subplot and series potential is exactly what you're looking for. Encoded is a dual POV 68,000-word novel set in the year 2170, where the lines between machine and human blur. Decorated Detective Gibson Shaw must work an AI mutilation case that's beneath him. The claw-like wounds of the AI resemble its ownership tattoo of a cat, but he dismisses that as coincidence. When more AI bodies litter Nova City with the same modus operandi, Shaw must bring the world's first AI serial killer to justice before the killer targets humans, all without falling for his rookie partner. Tattoo artist Nat Doe has always sensed the sorrow in others. By using drug-laced ink to alter his clients' moods, he creates happiness one tat at a time. Except it's the client's AI showing emotion. When he discovers the mutilated AI are ones he tatted, he's dragged into an investigation that reveals more about himself than he ever imagined. It's only when Shaw and Doe's worlds collide that the clues point to the real culprit. Do you want me to read the rest?
Sure.
Included in Coded are found family and members of the LGBTQ plus community. Sensitivity reading might be required. Adult science fiction readers who love Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. The Edge of Reason by K.W. Jeter, and an Aspects of I, Robot by Isaac Asimov will love Encoded. I'm a South African author with 2 published novels, The Huntress, a paranormal romance, and Zyx and Fox, a fantasy romance. I'm a member of ROSA, Romance Writers of South Africa, and have judged our National Mbali Awards 2020.
Okay, fantastic. Great pitch. And I could just listen to you read all day. You have such a nice accent.
Thanks.
That was fabulous. That was so fabulous. Okay, so I mean, it's not real. This is pretty darn good. Little tiny nitpicky stuff for me. I would say I'm hoping this is what you're looking for. You're gonna say this is a great fit for you. Don't say I'm hoping. You're being too nice. So Encoded is a dual. I would say this is a great fit for your list, whoever you're saying. Don't say I'm hoping, it's what you're looking for. You're going to say this is a great fit for your list. Boom. Okay. And I love how I love the name. Brilliant. Encoded is a dual POV like that. 68,000 word novel, perfect length. Set in the year 2170, where the lines between machine and human blur. Perfect. Love it. The first paragraph also really good. A little bit of work required on my part about the claw-like wounds of the AI resemble its ownership tattoo of a cat. I'm not quite sure what that means exactly.
Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Yeah. So does it mean like the murder wounds, or like the flesh wounds, or like?
They get ownership tattoos. Every time you buy an AI, you have to choose an ownership tattoo, and on that tattoo is all the information. So it's encoded in ink.
Right.
So it's encoded.
Oh, I see. Yes, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah. So that one line might need a little bit more work just to make it as clear as possible. So you could just say the wounds. I don't even know if you should mention.
Maybe I should just delete it.
Yeah, maybe just delete it, or not mention it. Just be like the wounds, or like the strange tattoo, but you do reference the tattoo artist in the second paragraph, so you might need something in there to be like, so you might need to just kind of work on that one line to make it a bit more clear, because that first I'm like, what, like I don't understand what's like. So does that mean like the resemble its ownership, so the wound matches the tattoo, the death wound matches that tattoo? Is that what I'm saying?
Yes, it looks like a cat molder.
Okay, so yeah, I would definitely work on that line just to make it as clear as possible. Love the third line. When Morai A bodies litter Nova City with the same operandi, Shaw must bring the world's first AI serial killer. So this is also could be a little needs a little bit clarification. Is this, that means the serial killer is AI, or they're killing AI? So that might need a little tweaking.
Yeah, they're killing AI.
You know what I mean? Okay, so you might just want to fix that up, that little, just because it kind of could be, is the AI the serial killer, or are they killing AIs? That just clarify that a little bit. But I like the second half of that sentence, all without falling for his rookie partner. Do we have a name of the rookie partner?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, maybe throw that in. And tattoo artist, because then I think that immediately my mind goes to that the tattoo, like this next person is the rookie partner, but it's not. So that
Okay.
I had to mentally jump again to tattoo artist. Nate Doe has always sensed the sorrow in others. I like this. This is so fascinating. By using drug-laced ink to alter his client's moods, he creates happiness one tat at a time. For his AI, does he only do AI clients or does he do both?
No, he does both. He does both.
Okay. Except it's a client's AI showing emotion. So what does that sentence mean?
It means it's his AI that is happy, or it's the AI that is sad, and that's what he's worried about.
Okay,
so suddenly the AI is starting to show emotion.
Oddly, except so strangely, now even the AI clients are unexpectedly, even the AI clients are getting the benefits of this, or so explain that a little bit more, that line there. And then the next line is great. He's dragged to an investigation that reveals more about himself than he ever imagined. Okay, so maybe is he part AI? Is that what we're hinting at, or is this more of like an internal? Okay, got that. So that kind of leads to that. That's a good like kind of intrigue hook. And then when Shaw, so yeah, it's only, so you can say when, you don't even say it's only, you could say when Shaw and Doe's words collide, mysterious clues point to the real culprit. And then included in encoder are found family members and members of the, what do you mean by, what are found family members? I'm not.
It's when you form a family with friends and not bloodline.
Okay, awesome. Oh, that's like in my book, but I didn't know there was an actual like term for that. That's great. Yeah. Included and encoded are found family and members of the LGBT community. So, is there a relationship between Gibson and Nate?
No.
Oh, just a rookie partner.
Yeah, because it's
is the rookie partner male or female?
Female, but that's not that's not
the LGBTQ angle.
The culprit is trans.
The killer?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's going to be an issue.
Yes, that is going to be. I know, and I'm quite happy to change it.
Yeah, I would change that.
So that was my big concern.
Yeah, I would change that just because you could have the trans community, basically saying you're making this. Yeah. You have to be very, but today is, I mean, and by all rights, we have to be extremely sensitivity. So that's great that you were aware that sensitivity reading would be required.
Yeah.
But I would just, yeah. And then you're, also, with own voices, unless you are trans. I mean, if you are trans yourself, then that's totally fine. But, if you're not trans, then it gets
asking for trouble,
sticky, right? Yeah. But I do like your comp titles. That's great. And I like your little bio. It's perfect. It's great. Congratulations on your publication. And being a judge for an awards is a fantastic thing to put in your bio.
Yes, it is.
Great job. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
These all sound really great. People have obviously done their homework and polished these. So I'm very impressed. Well done, everyone. Well, we've gone well over our allotted hour. I don't know if Alisha, maybe you want to leave us with some final words, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, just keep working at it. Blurbs take a little bit of time, but once you get the hang of it, you'll find that it comes easier. Again, most of your guys' blurbs were quite great. So I'm very impressed. So, you just need a little tweaking here and there. And, don't give up. Just a little bit of advice when you're querying. I would query as many agents as possible. Some people recommend only doing a few at a time, but agents take forever to get back to you. And they also, if you get interest from, the more people you query, the more chance you have of getting interest. And if you get interest from an agent, you can go back to the other agents who have not responded and be like, I have interest, just to let you know. And then boom, they're going to read your query way quicker than if you did not have interest. So I really recommend writers query, as many agents as they can in terms of agents that are right for the book, not just like a blanket, a blanket query, but querying as many agents as you think would be interested in your novel, not doing like 5 at a time. I do at least 15, 20 at least at a time when you're querying. So that's one little tip. And then if you get interest, you can go back to the other agents, because nothing makes them want you more than if somebody else wants you. So if you get interest from another agent, you can go back, be like, I've had a request for a partial, just wanted to keep you in the loop, or I've had another agent request this just in case you haven't had a chance to take a look at it and just wanted to let you know. So yeah, so it's a really great little tip. So don't hold off on your query and go out full. How many agents total would? Ooh, that's a hard question. 100? 100. We'll say 100. 90 to 100 agents, maybe. There's so many agents out there. Don't give up. And sometimes it's not even your book. Sometimes it's like they have something too similar, or they're just not interested in that genre, and so definitely I would say query 100 agents before you decide to shelve a manuscript. I mean,
Alisha,
if you want to
that was
keep going,
amazing.
keep going. Sorry. No.
Yeah, go to 200 if you need to.
Yeah, do 200. Do whatever you want. Don't give up. If you don't want to give up, don't give up.
So much, Alisha, for helping us out today. This was really enlightening for me as well. Hopefully for all of you. And keep in touch, please, people. Hopefully you will join our email list, which I've shared a link up above. I'll do it again. And keep in touch with us on our events coming up. You can follow Alisha on Twitter or visit her website. What's the best way to get a hold of you, Alisha?
You can message me on Instagram or Facebook, Messenger. Yeah, I'm pretty open. And how much are we doing the one-on-ones for today's audience, Mike?
So basically how the one-on-ones work, for everyone's knowledge, is that we'll let Alisha read your first 20 pages of your book and a synopsis of the book, and then you two will sit one-on-one for 45 minutes on Zoom and get to chat about what's working, what could be improved. And I believe we're doing 10% off for that today. Its normal price is $135, so 10% off that. Whatever that works out to.
That's Canadian too, for all you rich Americans.
Yeah. So hopefully take advantage of that. You can really save years off your publishing journey if you work with someone who is ahead of you on the path. And Alisha has definitely got a lot of experience. So thank you very much for sharing that experience with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good luck to everyone. Don't give up. It's tough, but keep writing and do it because you love it. And yeah, good luck, everyone.
Thanks again, everybody. And the recording will be posted as soon as possible. We'll talk to the WriteHive staff about that, and hopefully it's in the next day or two.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.